Real golf, real golf talk. Play it where it lies. A Bash Brothers Media golf show.
This is Play It Where It Lies. I'm Jon Wiener. He's Stuart, the Gent Conway. Stuart, it's Masters Week, my champions dinner, catfish, hush puppies, butter beans, and a big bottle of that good stuff that I'm going to use Stuart Conway money to get.
The good expensive stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Not bad, John. Not bad.
Could do worse. Your champions dinner?
My champions dinner, well, I mean, I guess next week it should be a diet dinner, as I went on a little diet this week and started off.
Well, good. You're looking good.
But the heck, I can have a day off from that. No, I would be having the whole thing, the filet mignon with the bordelaise sauce and the truffles, and that's what I'd be doing.
No, we're doing fried catfish and butter beans over here. Just make sure we got the good stuff on tap. The good stuff is Masters Week. This is Play It Where It Lies. Again, you can get us on Twitter at Bash Bros Media. We're on Facebook.com/Bash Brothers Media. And Stuart, I know a lot of people are picking up the podcast as well. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. We're on Podbean. Really, anywhere you get your golf content, it should be Play It Where It Lies. Mm-hmm. Coming up in the show, of course, all things Masters, and Shane Bacon's going to join us at the bottom of the hour. Really, bottom of the hour? This is a podcast. There's no bottom of the hour. I'm so used to the radio world. Shane Bacon will join us later on in the show. Been friends with Shane now for a while, and of course, one of the top guys at Fox Sports Golf and the Clubhouse Pod as well, and can't wait to talk with Shane about the Masters. Stuart, what makes this week, Masters Week, so special?
It's kind of like one of those questions you always get. What is special about the Masters Week? You know, and best put, it's the Masters. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it is what it is. It is, you know, people ask me, somebody just asked me just a short while ago, is the Masters better than the Open? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It is the ultimate prize. It's the ultimate golf tournament at the ultimate destination. It's above everybody's expectation to be there, and I think that's what's part of it.
Well, let me ask you this: as a guy growing up in England, mm-hmm. was it always that way? How did you view the Masters growing up? I feel like the Masters has taken a significant jump somehow in popularity, even though it is the youngest of the four majors. How did you view it sort of growing up?
Well, growing up, it was less important because of TV coverage is the main thing. British Broadcasting used to show tournaments basically from start to finish from very early on in sports history and television. The Masters had such a restricted media coverage.
It's like back nine on Sunday only,
and so it was hard to get into the tournament, get into what was going on with it. So you know, as you grow up playing golf over there, you would generally say, you know, I'm making this putt for the Open. The Open was the number one.
The Open Championship.
And nowadays that's changed in everybody's mind.
It seems to be the Masters. Even the young guys growing up, even the Rory Mcilroys growing up over there, it's the Masters.
It's the tournament. It's the tournament. There's no doubt about it.
I think what makes it so special for me, and I think this is the reason it is growing in popularity. And you're ready for a real metaphysical take here, but I really believe this. As our world evolves, and I think as everything speeds up and everything seems to be so new and changing all the time, I think the tradition of the Masters, I think the timelessness of the Masters, I think that you can expect the same thing every year, the music and the green jacket and the azaleas and hello friends. And I think the tradition of the Masters is what makes it great for me. And I don't know about that word tradition, just the history, the scene, the spectacle, the feel of it all, but certainly that quality of frozen in time. I think in our world today that is faster than ever, that is more sort of connected and, on the phone all the time, I think that's what I love, and I think that's what people resonate with now more than ever with the Masters, is that idea of sort of preserving the tradition.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was quite deep, I have to say.
Well, I think,
and certainly has valid points on it all. There is not a valid. No, there's no point that you haven't made which isn't valid with it. Of course, of course, I would expect nothing less. But yeah, I like tradition. I like the continuity of things within there. One could look at it as being a little contrived at
and
times.
We'll get into that later in the show in our Tough Lies segment about sort of that the preserving tradition and the underside of Augusta in some ways.
And I think that the one thing I would love to see, and as you've probably guessed, that I'm not an American-born individual, so a little bit of an accent gives it away. But I think that it's time to embrace it as an international tournament, which is, I think, what the Masters themselves have tried to do.
Yes.
And take it away from it being, the American winner.
American major. Sure.
And we're bringing in amateurs from Asian tour, from Asian countries and things there. So I think that it's still got a little way to go, and still got a little ways to go in people's minds. But the way it's progressing, I do like the way it's progressing. It is a very special week.
And again, it's just, I think that was a deeper kind of cut to it, but just the idea of the spectacle and the scene and all of the things about the course and the tournament itself beyond the action and the players, from Thursday to Sunday. Yeah. Getting into that, something interesting stood out, Stuart, as I was doing my research for the Masters and just looking at who we might project this year. And we're going to have our picks later on in the show. We're going to have Play It, Drop It, Roll It, which I'm excited about, a Masters edition only. In our Play It Where It Lies awards, we're just going to look back at some memorable kind of tough lies and big shots. The Ultimate kind of had to play it where it lies in the Masters tournament. But when you look at, for instance, the last three Masters winners, they have not been heard from since they won at Augusta. Danny Willett, of course, came out of nowhere, has been a nobody since then. Sergio Garcia, when he won 2 years ago, and we've talked about this a lot. Yeah. We've seen what happened with Sergio this year. He has, it's like it's fallen apart since he won at Augusta. Patrick Reed has not been a factor. The last three Masters winners, have sort of gone off the face of the earth. And then you look at all of the young guns, Rose, Rory, DJ, Fowler, JT, Jason Day, Rahm. None of them have Masters either. I think it's such a unique tournament. I think it's so difficult to win, and I think it's so meaningful to win that it sometimes... You see what I'm getting at? That's an interesting thing when you look at the past Masters winners of the last 15 years, and you look at the Masters winners of the last 3 years. I think speaks to how unique this tournament is.
It's very unique, and you're right to point out those people are struggling. You could even say that Spieth has struggled since his little minor meltdown there at the Masters. His game, yes, he's won some tournaments since, but they do seem to struggle afterwards. It'd be an interesting thing to talk to Shane about, because he has some more insight in stuff like that, perhaps, than being next to the players and being there on the grounds this week. So be interested to find his take on those things, I have to say.
Excited to talk with Shane, who has just skyrocketed. He's the man at Fox Golf right now, and we've had Shane on, with the golf show over at ESPN Radio, since 5-6 years now, and really excited to have Shane as a colleague and to talk with him on Masters Week about the Masters coming up. What is? Go ahead.
I wanted to say something about players in the Masters, and it's a very small field in the Masters compared to other weeks.
Yeah,
we're only going to end up with about 10 people cut from the Masters.
Really?
The rest are all going to be playing in it.
It's interesting.
It's a very small one. I don't know what your take is on people like. And no offense to Ian Woosnam, but
let's
should we not be thinking that Ian Woosnam probably should, with such a small field, that Ian Woosnam is still playing in the Masters for 2 days?
I think that is what makes this week so special. Oh. I think the fact that Sandy Lyle, bless his heart, is going to go out there and tee it up again, and you'll see Ian Woosnam. I think that's kind of the point of it all. That this is a week where it's okay to see Ian Woosnam go shoot 82 for 2 days in a row. It's okay that Sandy Lyle, who may not make it in the top flight of our member guests, will tee it up at Augusta National. I think that's just the whole point, that for 4 days, our modern ideas about what's right and what's proper are kind of suspended, and it becomes about what is okay at the Masters and what is okay at Augusta National. And I think it's good, great, man.
giving those exemptions to the past winners.
I mean, who do we want in there? Like, who do you want to see instead of Ian Woosnam? Like, give me the guy. Like, I'd actually rather see Ian Woosnam, who's not in, than like, Lee Westwood, like, bless his heart, go put up another like T11. No, I shouldn't bag on Westwood.
Lee's a top 10 Masters player.
I know he is, which is amazing. So he's probably a good example of some guy you say, well, Westwood should probably get in the tournament.
Yeah, because he's always up there.
But that's why it is so significant to win it, because the players know that if you win this, the players know it is a lifetime win. Every way, because it is a fraternity, it is a week, it is a special tournament that eclipses the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, the PGA, almost in a different stratosphere in terms of what it does for you as a golfer the rest of your life. What is the most, in terms of the field, in terms of the action this week, and we'll have Play It, Drop It, Roll It coming up, and we're going to get into all kinds of Masters fun there. But in terms of the compelling storyline of the golf this week, what's the most interesting and sort of most compelling storyline for you?
I think there are a number, but to pick one, I think that McIlroy, completing the Grand Slam would be unbelievably massive for him personally and the game of golf. I think you can go to Tiger and all these things.
Stay with Rory.
I like Rory. I like Rory. I like the Rory story. I think that's the big story there for me. Is Rory finally getting to? He's got to grips with the course. He's just had his moments where he just hasn't got it together.
This is a guy who was in the final group last year against Patrick Reed. I think it pays to revisit a little bit what happened last year. Ricky Fowler made his late Sunday charge and Patrick Reed was able to hold him off, but it was Rory and Reed in the final group. Rory kind of big time Patrick Reed walking to the first tee. He had this champion's interest. Everybody said, "Oh, Rory's got Reed right where he wants him," and then hits the first tee ball halfway to Atlanta off the course for Rory, and that was kind of the end of it. And then you remember the second hole, he had sort of a 3-footer for eagle, and he missed it. And Patrick Reed came back and birdied the third hole, and it was sort of a wrap for Rory that day. But I think, Stuart, that is why Rory is so compelling. For one, he has a superstardom above everybody else other than Tiger and Phil on the PGA Tour because of his talent, because the fact that he won early. But I also think because he's had those blow-ups, at the Masters on the 10th tee many years ago, because he had the close call last year. I think more than ever, people are identifying with Rory's struggle in a way at Augusta and becomes so compelling. But for me, it has to be Tiger Woods. And I know it's almost cliche a little bit to go there, but when you talk about what's the most compelling storyline, it can't be anything. It can't be anyone other than this guy Tiger Woods, who, by the way, hasn't won the Masters in 14 years. And he's only played, I think this will be his third Masters in the last 6 years. But anytime Tiger tees it up, he's the most compelling storyline. But I think this year is the first time, last year I didn't give him much of a chance. When he came back there in 2000, I guess it was 2013, he kind of made a run. He had the deal where he hit the flagstick and the drop on the 15th hole. But I think it's compelling because I really, and I think anybody in golf, think Tiger not only is a story this week, has a really, really good chance or an outlook to actually contend in this one and maybe, just maybe, win a major title.
I'm gonna give you a stat.
Okay.
I'm not big on stats.
I'm ready for it.
I'm not big on stats.
Stewie the Gent.
Okay, so let's analyze Tiger Woods. I would say, and I leave it up to you to argue. I would say that one of the biggest things to winning a Masters is three-putt avoidance. Tiger Woods is like 200th in the world at three-putt avoidance.
Is that bad?
It's not good. It's not good. And so I look at that.
That was organic, by the way. We didn't set that up.
I just think that stat alone would tell me this isn't the guy who's going to win this year.
Do you think he'll play well and contend?
Yes.
You do?
I do.
We'll have our picks later in the show. We're going to allude to it and play it, drop it, roll it. I think that's a great point with Tiger. I've got some interesting putting stats on Augusta and just kind of there's this idea of what wins and what doesn't. The second shot golf course, well, maybe not. I think that would certainly favor Tiger because he's hitting his irons better than anyone in the game right now, as well as he ever has. I agree with you. And I think as we talked a little bit last week on Play It Where It Lies, can Tiger close? I think Augusta or not, his ability to hit the big 5-foot putt, whether it's to make a par and save a 3-putt or make the eagle when he stiffs it close instead of birdie, is a little different certainly than it used to be and worth paying attention to. But I think you hit it and we did. As much as the defending champions and Jordan Spieth is certainly a big story, but it's Rory's Grand Slam quest. It's Tiger always, but Tiger now more than ever in terms of, the big storylines this week. This is Play It Where It Lies. We're driven by Gulf States Golf Cars. Go to gsgolfcars.com. Stuart the Gent. I'm Jon Wiener. Coming up, again, Shane Bacon. Don't miss that. That'll be in about 15 minutes on your show. Play it, drop it, roll it. We're going to ask tough spots, put us in some tough positions, and we're going to have to decide whether we play it, drop it. No rolls, I hope, this week. You don't have to roll it at Augusta, man. The rough is good. But as always, play it on your phone, play it in your car, play it on the course, just play it where it lies.
When golf gives and takes away, you play it where it lies.
Golf puts you in tough spots. We play it where it lies. He's Stuart the Gent Conway from across the pond. I'm Jon Wiener. Masters edition of Play It Where It Lies, which I'm really excited about. And of course, excited about our partnership as always with Gulf States Golf Cars, gsgolfcars.com. You're starting to move some off the lot now.
Starting to get some moving.
Got some sun, so we got some traffic.
We had a little bit more rain this week. Oh my word, it's been awful. But you can't golf in this weather. It's just so bad.
I certainly hope we're going to have good weather. I haven't checked the weather forecast at Augusta this week. I know they always make it work. Have you seen anything in the forecast?
I think there is a forecast checker. We're looking at, Saturday and Sunday, there's a higher chance, hopefully they're wrong. They always are. 4 or 5
I'll be on my couch either way.
Yeah, we all will be. I mean, we'll be watching something, waiting for it to come back on. Yeah. No doubt.
Well, let's get into Play It, Drop It, Roll It. And again, we are always trying to, ask tough questions and tough spots on this show. And we're going to get into the ANWA, the Women's Amateur, and Augusta's role in that in our Tough Lies segment. But we'll have some fun here. Play it, drop it, roll it. So you know the deal. We'll make a statement or a declaration or a big question. And if it's something you're ready to go with, you play it. Obviously, say, no, I don't want anything to do with it. You drop it, and we'll see who rolls it. I rolled one last week, but I don't think, we're trying to always play it where it lies. Okay, play it, drop it, roll it. Stuart, Augusta is a second shot golf course.
Drop it.
Really?
Yep. It's not a second shot golf course. There are so many shots on there where your tee position is paramount to being able to play a second shot even, and onto where you're going to play the second shot. So I don't believe that. I believe I've always believed that it's a 2-putt golf course. That's always been my opinion of it. Make 2 putts and walk away, and you'll be doing just fine there.
I'm going to drop it also. I think it's a fun cliche to say. And when you read about it and you hear golfers talk about it, they'll say it's essentially a second shot golf course. It plays like a second shot golf course. But I think if there's one thing Augusta has showed us, for instance, last year, Patrick Reed got it done, not with his second shots. No. It's when he missed with his second shots, his ability to scramble. He's one of the great scramblers. Tiger overpowered the par fives. That's how he won, and we saw Jordan Spieth, just sort of put the eyes right off of the golf ball. So I think it's a make your shot golf course, if that makes any sense.
It makes all the sense in the world.
I think we're
absolutely.
I think we're in that. So we both drop it. Augusta's a second shot golf course.
So here for you Tiger will be in contention on Sunday.
I'm going to play it. I think there's no question about it. We'll see who our picks are at the end of the end of Play It Where It Lies here, but I'm going to play it. I think there's every reason to believe. And it's not a belief anymore. It's not a hope anymore. We've seen, first of all, a guy, he's 12th in the world right now. He was like 400 when we started thinking about this show. Indeed. Last year. Tiger has proven that he can play well and contend in majors. He's proven that he can win in big spots in the Tour Championship. He's playing pretty well this year. We know that he knows Augusta so well. I think the the putting, if he can let himself, I was hearing John Cook talk about this, if Tiger can let himself feel at Augusta instead of worrying so much about the technique and the stroke with this putter, but if ever there's a place where that feel can come back, it's Augusta. I think play it, Tiger will be in contention.
I'm going to play it also. I think he's going to be there. I think he's going to do okay. I'm not going to get into my pick on this one.
We will soon.
We will soon. Yeah. But yeah, I think he's got the game and the knowledge of the course, and it's that ability to know the course at Augusta, and he knows it.
Pimento cheese is all it's cracked up to be. Play it, drop it, roll it.
I don't think so. I'm dropping that one.
Me too. Give us your thoughts on pimento cheese.
Pimento cheese. No, I can't quite.
Hank's.
It's up there with cottage cheese and red colored jello.
You just put the pimento cheese with the cottage cheese?
No, I'm dropping that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop it also. Like, I've been to Augusta. They say, it's, get the Augusta pimento. No, it's still pimento cheese.
It's still pimento cheese.
I don't know what this enamorment is with pimento cheese, this like glorification of this really weird congealed like orange pink looking substance. I'll go with like the chicken sandwich, I'll go with like the barbecue, but we're in accord here on, is there anyone out here who likes pimento cheese?
I'm sure there are some folk out there like it.
Play it, drop it, roll it. Fred Couples will make a first day move.
I'm dropping it this year.
Really?
I am dropping
Freddie
it.
Boom
No, Freddie's not going to do it this year. I think if Freddie's reached his ripe old age now where he's going to start to, just go along and he'll have fun there.
That's kind of what he does. He manages to shoot 5 under.
He's just going to go and have fun there this year. I think that, I don't think he's going to make any moves this year at all.
I'm going to drop it, and I'm going to do you one more. You know who is going to make a charge? The champion's charge? Vijay Singh. Playing really good golf. He knows his way around, right? Everyone expecting. Fred Couples, Bernhard Langer, we see it. I don't know about either one of those. I agree with you. I'm going to drop it on Fred Couples, but it's in lieu of playing it on Vijay Singh. I wouldn't be shocked at all, Stuart, to see Vijay like in contention. I mean on the weekend. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I have not given that one moment of thought, but you're absolutely correct. He's playing some fantastic golf. He can still hit the ball a terribly long way, which you'll need to on a couple of holes there nowadays. Yep. Okay, for you now, the 13th hole is the best hole on the course.
So I'm going to play it. Okay. Because it is. And I understand that it doesn't play like it used to. And I know that Augusta National is addressing it to make it longer and to make it play like the risk-reward par 5 it's supposed to be. Because now it's just a driver and a mid-iron for these guys. And Hack and Hank called it an automatic birdie. It's not quite, but it's close. And so I understand that it is a little out of whack right now in terms of how they play it. But in terms of the best hole on the course, I don't think there's any question. There's a lot of good ones, but when you're there, and you don't even have to be there, and I feel a little bad, Stuart, because not everyone, most people, in fact, haven't been fortunate enough to actually go and see it in person, but just a dogleg par 5 on Amen Corner with the risk reward that's supposed to be in the hole and some of the history that you have with that hole, I still think that even sort of driver mid-iron aside, I'm going to play it. I think the 13th hole is the best on the course.
It's no doubt it's a good hole. I'm dropping it because I may be alone in this. I actually love the 18th.
Really?
I love the 18th.
You are not alone, but you're in the minority.
I love the 18th hole. I think it's just it's a difficult driving hole. Get too far to the right, get too far to the left, you're in the bunker, you're by the trees. A difficult shot up to the green, and it's created havoc on the last day of a tournament. And so like a basketball game, that last couple of minutes is on the 18th hole.
It's true, and that's why I like 15 also, when you're standing there on that hill on 15, what great shots at Tiger hitting, flagging it, Seve Ballesteros hitting it in the water in 1986 with Nicklaus's, charge, and Seve has the famous story. He said, I just knew that ball was going to go. He said, I could feel Jack making my ball go in the water on 15. That's where the tournament is decided. A lot of times 15, 16,
surely,
as you said. But I'm going to play it on the 13th. 13th hole. This is a fun one. The par 3 contest is the Masters' best tradition.
Well, I'm dropping that one from a personal level.
Me too. Me too.
I'm not.
We're almost like entirely accord.
Yeah, we shouldn't be doing this. We should just disagree to disagree.
But no, we're disagreeing on. We're agreeing on the par 3.
Yeah, I think that it's a great fun outing for everybody. It's a tradition. I don't know if I want to go and watch somebody's kids hit golf balls and carrying clubs and just generally. If you like lightheartedness and you want to go around, have a few beers, have a good time, it's okay.
You want to know my pullback on it is a little bit like preseason football. And it's a lot like if you had like a buffet in the next room, like the best all-you-can-eat buffet you've ever had, and then like you're waiting in the room and they bring you some, appetizers and crackers to eat. You're like, I don't even want them. You're like, I'm just waiting for the feast, you know? And there's a little bit of that with the Masters. It's like it doesn't spoil it, in other words, but it's like I don't want to see Augusta until, the Masters is happening, on Thursday. And so I'm a little, and I would also just say, I think the Champions Dinner is the coolest tradition. There's I would go Champions Dinner. I think the starting tee shot with the old guys, that is probably between the Champions Dinner. I think it's so cool that not just you get to have the Champions Dinner, you get to make your menu. Patrick Reed's going to serve up like Pabst and ribs this year. I think it's just it's terrific. So I'm going to drop it as well on the par 3 contest being the Masters' best tradition. I think we got a couple more.
Yeah. Okay. Jordan Spieth can find his Augusta magic.
I'm gonna play it.
You're playing?
Yeah, I think he can. Now, this is not Will. I think he can. I think Spieth's putting stats are atrocious this year. It's hard to believe Spieth in like every different putting distance. He's 186 plus, dude.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, we're talking about a guy who was widely regarded as the best putter in the world. He can't hit the hole from 6 feet. Nope. I mean, he's at the bottom of the PGA Tour. That being said, we've seen this before from Spieth. We saw it last year. I mean, he was hitting the ball all over the ballpark, and then somehow there on Sunday, he put up a low number and charged. I think that is the magic of Augusta. I think it's a little bit the magic of Jordan Spieth. I think he certainly can find his magic. I'm going to play it.
Yeah, I'm totally disagreeing. I'm dropping it. Okay. I think my whole thing about two putt days on at the Masters are just so important, and I think that if he doesn't make anything early on, it's gonna just go from bad to worse for him. But
he is a guy that can go bad to worse.
Yeah, it's but I just don't see it with him. I just don't. He knows the greens as well as anybody there. He's played on it. He knows them back to front. But no, I'm not getting his putting back up this week.
Quick note on Spieth. Let me tell you about this guy, and this kind of sums up. Do you see what Spieth did this past weekend? Went out in 42.
Yes.
This is a PGA Tour player with 3 majors. He shot 42 going out. You know what he shot going in? 31.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean that in some ways is that's remarkable to think about. A PGA Tour player with Spieth's caliber shooting 42 on the front side. I think Hackin' Hank may have bested him out there if he had teed it up for the front 9. But then to turn around and shoot a 31 on the back shows, I think, just how much of a streak maybe player Jordan Spieth is.
Maybe he's more of a streak player, but I know that he was never going to be able to continue putting like
that one back there.
He wouldn't.
The Butler Cabin interview is a bad idea.
Oh, I'm playing that one.
Me too. Is there anything more awkward than the Butler Cabin interview?
That's like awkward television to its pinnacle.
It is.
It's really bad.
I like all of the traditions, but it's like when they go in there for those 10 minutes at Butler Cabin, you imagine like Patrick Reed this year, and let's say he's in the mix.
Yeah.
The bad idea. Final one, we will have a first-time Masters winner.
Yes, we will.
You're going to play it.
I'm playing that one. Yes, we're having a first-time Masters winner.
I'm going to drop it.
Oh.
Which doesn't give me a lot of picks there in terms of if it's not a first-time Masters winner, and I'm not picking Ian Woosnam either. There's only a few guys in the field who could realistically win already. with the green jacket. So
They could.
our picks coming up. That was Play It, Drop It, Roll It. Always a fun segment and a good segment. We looked at all kinds of things with the Masters and Augusta National. Now we'll have Tough Lies. We're going to really get into a very difficult question about the game of golf and Augusta National's role in it here on Play It Where It Lies. We're driven by Gulf States Golf Cars. Stuart the Gent Conway, and get him on Twitter at Conway's Clubhouse. We got to up your Twitter output.
Yeah.
It's a cool Twitter handle.
It is.
Of course, I'm on Twitter.
I guess it doesn't work, though.
At John Wiener. It doesn't work if you don't use it. At John Wiener BBM. We're on Twitter at Bash Bros Media, Facebook.com/Bash Brothers Media. We're on iTunes, Spotify. Of course, you can see the show on YouTube on our page as well. And we're hosted by Podbean, hanging out with Hack and Hank, Josh Clegg, Stuart the Gent Conway. I'm John Wiener, and it's Play It Where It Lies.
Golf puts you in tough spots. We play it where it lies.
Yeah, we're going to get into a really, I think, tough question and a difficult spot as it relates to Augusta National and its history and what's happened this past week, in which the fantastic Augusta National Women's Amateur, it was so terrific. But real quick, talk about a tough question. I'm still trying to get my mind around this. A British Imperial pint is larger than the regular American
US pint, yeah.
Now, how does that work?
It works out. The British
We're getting to the real important stuff here.
Yeah, we are. British Imperial pint is 20 ounces, 20 fluid ounces. The American pint is 16 ounces. Therefore,
No wonder you blokes just blasted all the time.
drink more beer.
I want a wizard stick with the 20 ounces, man.
Oh,
Really
yeah.
good thing.
I forgot about those things. But the Imperial gallon is obviously still 8 pints, but it's larger because it's 4 times 8 more. So it's an extra 2 pints of gas. So you can't compare the price of a gallon of gas here to a gallon of gas in, which they don't sell anymore in Britain because they're now all European and they sell it in litres. So
You Brits lead the world in most things, and drinking is, I think, one of them. Certainly.
and I tell you what, those Dutch and those Germans, they can get into it too.
Them folks at Augusta National this week, believe me, I've seen it and done my part there. Stacking those Masters cups up, walk around with the wizard sticks. Hey, I'm a goon, look at me.
How to embarrass yourself very easily.
Exactly. Us Americans at golf tournaments can do it. Kind of an interesting, I think, sort of segue and transition a little bit to look at something that was far from buffoonish and very serious at Augusta National this past weekend, the Augusta National Women's Amateur. What a great scene and tournament and thing it was.
Indeed. And the 2 young ladies who were first and second in that final group, Fazzi and Kupcho.
Yeah.
Just played stellar golf. Just made some just wonderful golf shots in there. They were head and shoulders above the rest of the field. It kind of always reminded me of the Mickelson-Stenson Open. They just separated themselves out, and their class was no doubt. It was a wonderful tournament.
And I also think, much like the Masters, so much of it was about the scene and the spectacle around it. I mean, the opening tee shot from their starters to have Ochoa and Annika and Sayri Pak to kick it off, it felt like, Stuart, a monumental, significant event in golf history. Is that fair to say?
Gosh. It was.
I think the women certainly saw it as that. From everything that I could see and read and understand, the emotion, people crying, from Annika Sorenstam all the way down to, the participants in there, it certainly seemed like a watershed moment for the women.
Well, it does seem like a watershed moment. I'm going to give you a little thing here saying there is another major tournament, not in golf, that allows women to play first before the tournament starts. And that is the All England Tennis Championships at Wimbledon. Every year before the major tournament starts at Wimbledon, 4 lady members play a doubles match on centre court. And they play it to make sure the grass is okay and everything else. And it's kind of, I know women play there now at Wimbledon and everything else, and so hopefully this will move forward, but it strikes me as a little, the week before the Masters, I'm not sure, and I'm not sure that when Britton Lincecum was giving her little talk to the ladies and said that she was jealous she's never played there, she would love to play there. There wasn't a little dig at something there of what about us? Why can't we play there? Why are these playing here?
So it was the timing for you that was an issue? Because that didn't strike me as, some people took umbrage with the fact that it was opposite the A&A, the actual major happening on the women's tour the same weekend, and so there were some pushback in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and of course the drive, chip, and putt was there as well this weekend. So it's part of something there which I think that is well orchestrated by the Masters Committee. To get a lot of action and a lot of attention into the golf course, all for an extended period of time, and something which I feel it doesn't need and would be better off at another time.
I think that it's important to ask a lot of these questions that we're talking about. And I look at it more in the sense of, is it, I don't know about lip service and pandering, but in terms of, is it enough for the women? Is it a step by Augusta to sort of appease that conversation and to, on the forefront, say, look what we're doing for women's golf. But then all these things you point about, well, is it really just about publicity for the course the week of the event? Does it have to be the same weekend as all of these other things, what's going on there with Augusta? And let's keep in mind, this is the very same club that put a stick in the ground and literally, the old, I guess, Hootie, who ran Augusta National, literally died on that hill of saying, we will not allow women into our club.
Correct.
This was not long ago when it was a worldwide controversy that Augusta National in the 20th century, almost to the 21st, would not allow women to be members. There's only six women members at Augusta National right now. So my question, kind of along that sense, is, are we now supposed to laud Augusta? Do we look at Augusta as sort of, are they being progressive and leading the way from this very same group that in their entire history, whether it's blacks, Jews, and certainly women, have said thanks but no thanks?
Well, I don't know. I certainly don't. I think it's laudable to have a women's tournament there. I think it's laudable to have a female amateur tournament there. And they certainly did the course and themselves proud there, with no question. I mean, about it. The motives of, I guess you're going to question the motives of the Masters Committee and why they did this. As you say, go back. I mean, not many years ago, they didn't admit the first black member until 1990. There.
But part of it is, much like in the South, well, they can't stay wedded to those wrongs forever. I mean, the reality is, yes, you laud them for doing this. Yes, they are making progress, and kudos to them. And this is where I need the computer in front of me to call up the chairman of Augusta National now. But he said, look, it's my show now, and we're going to do a lot of things to make it more international. We're going to have the women's amateur at Augusta for the first time, and I think all of that is certainly complimentary. I just think it's important to keep in mind with Augusta, and Shane Ryan wrote about this so memorably in his best-selling book, Slaying the Tiger. I say Shane Ryan, Shane Bacon also going to weigh in shortly on all things with the Masters, and really excited about that conversation. It's important to keep in mind with Augusta that all of the effort to preserve tradition, all of the effort to keep things the way that they were in today's age can kind of be against this idea of sort of progress and inclusivity. Everything that Augusta National has ever been about, going all the way back to Bobby Jones and Cliff Roberts, who was a virulent racist who insisted on all of these things to keep X party and keep this color and that from being a part of Augusta National. And I think a lot of that is still there, that there is something artificial, there is something contrived, and as Shane even went so far as to say, even a little sinister in how sort of Augusta is presented and the image and the message, even with the things like women, with what's actually happening.
Yeah, I think it's always important to remember where they came from, and this was a contrived tournament from the very beginning because it was contrived so that they would get the media coming up from spring training in Florida and they would come back through there. So it was all driven around media attention to the tournament, and they tried to keep things in the background. I think it was Lee Elder who qualified for the Masters and was given such hate mail and such things happening to him that it was impossible for him to even attend and play it.
Yeah.
You know, so we shouldn't forget those things, but we should still remember it's a golf tournament, and this was a ladies' golf tournament, and it was lady amateurs, and they played well. They deserve our respect.
Yes,
and
and Augusta
honor for
deserves
doing
all the
it.
credit
Absolutely
in the world
they do.
for putting this
Absolutely
together. A couple of passages that I just think, this is from Kurt Sampson, a book called The Masters, Golf, Money, and Power in Augusta. And I'm quoting Kurt. He says, gentlemanliness has been the very basis of the tournament founder's life and of his golf. Cliff, the assistant, picked up on the boss's strict standards of behavior, his love of honor. Roberts amplified Jones. Together, they made a fetish out of monitoring the behavior of everyone in or near the tournament. And then Shane Ryan goes on to write, on the other hand, if your BS detector hasn't quite run out of batteries, consider a second argument. There's something deeply disturbing and anti-democratic about the whole operation, and the club represents almost everything that's archaic and exclusive about golf. I think that's true, but Stuart, I think your point in the end, we have to say, let's remember at the end of the day, it's still a golf tournament.
It's still a golf tournament, yeah, and traditions run deep. Traditions run deep.
And we
with
like
people.
traditions.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
like we like it, and that's kind of, the point here is that we just, in a world where we seem to be so hypersensitive to all of that, it's like we're not at Augusta Week. It's kind of like a fairy tale, man, where we just they say suspend your disbelief in a fairy tale. It's like we all want to be a part of the fairy tale.
It is, and I would give my little final synopsis and say it is everything that's good and everything that's bad about the game of golf all rolled into 1 week.
I think I think that's a good way to put it. And again, at the end of the day, you and I, like everybody else, are just all in on the Masters.
Absolutely. Yep.
But there is a bit of a fairy tale element here that actually we're suspending our disbelief and kind of overlooking some things that you say, maybe, hey, wait a second, the reality here is different. But we, like the rest of the world, and that is what they do so well. That is the magic of Augusta National. Yep. It's a fairy tale, and we all want to be a part of the fairy tale.
Yeah,
and there's absolutely nothing better. Yeah. So really good, I thought, Tough Lies conversation about some of, again, the tough questions around Augusta National and the game of golf. Coming up on the other side of the break, we've got, I don't know if they're going to be tough questions, but I know we're going to have great answers and insight from Shane Bacon, one of the top guys in all of golf coverage right now with Fox Sports, also with the Clubhouse Pod. Shane and I have been doing golf radio together for a good while now, so really appreciate Shane for spending some time with us, and don't miss that conversation coming up next.
The good, the bad, the hard in golf.
This is Play It Where It Lies. We're brought to you by Gulf States Golf Cars, and of course, this is a Masters edition of Play It Where It Lies, and we're super excited to be joined by a good friend, Shane Bacon, who, of course, you can see now on Fox Golf, also the host of the Clubhouse Pod. You can get it on Twitter at the Clubhouse Pod. Shane, thanks for joining us. It's Masters Week. How excited are you?
Yeah, I mean, it's, for golf fans, it's one of the best weeks of the year. I mean, there's not really any debate about that. And I think, I always get excited about good lead-ins. Have we had a good season thus far? And it's been exciting. I mean, we've seen some big-name players play well. Tiger's playing decent to solid. And when you get a Rory win and a Phil win and a Dustin win and all that stuff already, that's good stuff.
Shane, what is it about the Masters that is so special for golf fans, for you specifically?
I just think the mystery of Augusta National, it's this sacred place in our minds and in our brains, and golfers tend to remember stuff a lot. You remember the bad shots. You remember a certain golf shot. Now, you always remember the golf holes at Augusta, and I just think, it was kind of a perfect storm. It's the first major of the year, so it's the first big event of the year in men's golf.
Yeah.
And you get to, and you always want to go there, and you go there and you're actually surprised at how much better it is than what you maybe dreamed of in your head, and the memories and the history and knowing what's going to happen on Sunday without really knowing what's going to happen. I don't know. It's just been such a cool. It's been a cool thing to be a part of. It's been a cool thing to cover. I mean, I remember memories of myself when I was a kid, watching with my dad, watching with my family, and seeing Phil win for the first time and seeing Tiger do their stuff in '97. I mean, those memories don't escape you, and it feels like when you get back every year, you have a moment where you kind of are back in 1986 or '97 or '04, and that's a pretty special thing in sports. I don't know if there's anything like it.
Yeah, Shane, this is Stuart. One of the things that's always intrigued me, one of the things we get asked an awful lot is, who's going to win? Who are your picks for the Masters? When you're making picks and selections for the Masters, do you think that it's the one major tournament and maybe tournament of the year where stats are irrelevant to the eventual winner and top three?
I don't know if they're irrelevant, but I don't think there's a golf tournament where the golf course matters so much. I mean, if you understand Augusta and you get it, you tend to play well. If you don't and you don't get it, you never do. I mean, if you look at a guy like Martin Keimer, who multiple major winner, probably going to be in the Hall of Fame, he's never understood Augusta.
Right.
And it shows in his results. You look at Lee Trevino, was one major away from winning a career Grand Slam. Could never figure out Augusta. It didn't fit his game. Mm-hmm. And then on the flip side, a guy like Phil, Tiger, Jack, those types of players, on down the list, those players, the golf course made sense to them. The modern-day version of that, of course, is Jordan Spieth. And you've got these guys that, for whatever reason, when they get there, it clicks in. And that'll be what's so interesting, to your point, about Jordan Spieth this week, is he's had a disastrous 12 months with his golf game. Mm-hmm. Can he find it at the place that he seems to find it at every year? Yeah. And if he does, it will really speak volumes about how important this golf course is to getting the kind of the knowledge of it down early. Because if Spieth finishes top 5 this week, it would be a miracle considering the way he played.
Yeah. Shane Bacon with us here on Play It Where It Lies. Of course, you see Shane on Fox Golf. Listen to him on the Clubhouse Pod. And Shane, sort of to that note, what's interesting on the flip side, you look at the last 3 major winners. Danny Willett hasn't been heard from since he won. Sergio Garcia fell off the map. Patrick Reed has had such an AWOL existence since he won at the Masters. And you really look back at, really the Masters winners of the last 15, 16 years. Your Spieth and kind of Bubba aside, there's not a lot of guys that currently factor in. And what is it? What's your takeaway there with the Masters, especially when you look at the last 3 guys that, it seems like so significant almost that they don't move on from winning it?
Yeah, I think that was the deal with Sergio, to your point, and I think that's a great observation. Sergio, he's later in his years, never won a major, snagged the Masters, and I think it's just basically a year coronation. Everywhere you go, You're introduced, you wear the green jacket to Wimbledon and to your wedding, and all of those things that come with it. I think it is probably hard to touch your feet back down on earth, at least for a few months for these guys. But, in terms of Danny Willett, he went through some technical stuff and was really struggling with the short game. And Reed has just really not been the same since that win. It's probably a little bit of being shook from the win because it is. If you talk to these professional golfers, winning the Masters is A1. It is. And they all say it at this point because of what comes with it. It comes with basically the rest of your life. Not only are you a Masters champion, but this week is massively special. I talk to guys like Curtis Strange, who I work with, and Paul Azinger, and Brad Faxon, and even Steve Flesh. And these guys didn't win the Masters. And when you talk to them about their close calls, you can still see the pain in their eyes. So I'm sure when you win this thing, as a guy like a Patrick Reed or a Danny Willett, I guarantee you it's very, very hard to go out 2 weeks later to play in the St. Jude Classic. How up for it can you get? You're sitting there going, I just won something that I've dreamed about since I put, a cord grip in my hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. I can only go back. Does it say something about the modern day golfer as opposed to, going back in the day with Tiger winning so many Masters and Jack winning so many Masters, Faldo repeat in there? Were those guys different from the modern day golfer or more grounded, or is it the media attention that they get, do you think?
Around the Masters, I think that year after year, this event gets more and more hype, which I didn't think was possible, 10 years ago. And so, I mean, I think it's probably a mixture of those things. I mean, getting into the Masters is hard. I mean, you're seeing guys like Lee Westwood, not in the event, who is playing great golf and would have a chance to win. So it's such an elite field to get into to begin with, and then all the hype around it, and weeks and weeks and weeks of talk going into it. And then, every day is its own storyline. Thursday's a big day, Friday's a big day, Saturday you're in the hunt, then comes Sunday. And then after you win that, you're going to Colbert and you're going to Good Morning America. And that doesn't tend to happen around other events, even major championships. So I'm sure it's a mixture of the players hyping it up even more than they did in past years, and then us in the media being just as excited, because what's so wild now, especially in 2019, is this waterfall of majors. I mean, we go Masters, PGA, U.S. Open, and it all happens really fast. So if you check one off early, the year's made, and then it's kind of playing without money at that point with the major championship. So if you're a Dustin Johnson, who's going in, one of the favorites, of course, and you go win this thing, you've got yourself a chance to win maybe 3 majors in a season because you got this one off the list already. Jack Nicklaus used to say when he didn't win the Masters, his entire year was ruined. And this is a guy that, is playing him 30 more events for us in the season, including me.
I'm going to miss that Lee Westwood T6 at the Masters that we see almost every year. Shane, before we let you go, just looking at this year's tournament, it's so hard to predict. Obviously, it's one of the neat things about the Masters. But, Tiger and Rory's storyline with Rory going for the career slam, Tiger where his game is, those two sort of stand out above the rest. Which one of those do you actually expect? Do you give a chance, say, hey, this guy could be in the final group on Sunday and maybe put the green jacket on, Tiger and Rory?
I mean, you got to go Rory just with the way he's played. I mean, if he wedges the ball half decent this week, I think he wins. I mean, the way he's driving it right now, Augusta, even at 7,500 yards, it's a par 68 for him. I mean, he's got iron into every par 5. He's going to have 8 or 9 iron into 13 and 15. So with that ability, with him leaning on the driver more and more to become a massive weapon that he's basically distancing himself from the tour with, I just believe if he's hitting his wedges even remotely close, he's going to be there on Sunday. I mean, he was there last year. He's played well the last 4 years. Of course, hasn't won. But I really believe that for Rory McIlroy, this is going to be his best chance. I mean, this is as good a golf as he's played in a long stretch in his entire career. To go into this, I mean, I don't understand how you could be more confident in Rory McIlroy this week. And it's hard to pick a favorite to win it, of course. But, Rory understands, I think, that, he's gotten to a place, I feel like, in his life where he gets the fact that it's 72 holes. Every single one's a battle. It doesn't matter if you go out in 40, you can shoot 30 on the back like Tiger did, in 97. And I just feel like he's in such a good mental place right now.
Shane Bacon doing a great job. Of course, you can see him with Fox Sports Golf. Listen to him on the Clubhouse Pod, at the Clubhouse Pod on Twitter. Shane, we appreciate you joining us as always, and enjoy the week.
Anytime, guys. Thanks.
Thanks, Shane.
When golf gives and takes away, you play it where it lies.
So great call from Shane Bacon there, John. Some great insights into the players and their attitudes and
I love what Shane said about the Masters as a whole. I love the way he put it. You know what's going to happen on Sunday without knowing what's going to happen on Sunday, and I think that sums up kind of the anticipation.
Only the actors change.
Yeah, right. But the drama and the show is always the same. And interesting also when he talks about it's hard to put your feet back on the earth after you win the Masters. He said it's hard to go show up at the St. Jude the next week and hit 4 irons.
And that's a really interesting thing. That you would think that players, who are winning majors, multiple times, some of them, and winning golf tournaments, it would just be kind of another tournament, but it isn't.
But it's not, and that's what he talked about, like his colleagues, Paul Azinger and guys who've won majors, talking wistfully because that's the deal. All the other tournaments are just golf tournaments, and they are, sure, you're the champion golfer of the year at the Open, and there's prestige to winning all of them. The Masters is a lifetime win.
Yeah.
The Masters is a lifetime win. It changed, at least for this week, it changes your life, and it's the best weekend in golf also. So yeah, great stuff from Shane Bacon. You can get him at the Clubhouse Pod. Of course, you can get us on Twitter at Bash Bros Media, Facebook.com/Bash Brothers Media. You can see the show on YouTube. And if you're just a listening type, maybe you're driving to Augusta, like our guy David Brandt is over at Augusta covering the Masters all week. You can queue up the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and really wherever you get your podcast platform. So every week on Play It Where It Lies, we hand out our Play It Where It Lies awards, which is simply whether in golf or life, somebody getting it done in a big situation in a very tough spot. And we had some good ones last week. I want to keep it with Augusta this week, and let's give a Play It Where It Lies award literally for somebody who hit a memorable shot in a really difficult spot. Like who in Masters history comes to mind for you that would get a Play It Where It Lies award?
Larry Mize. Larry Mize.
The chip-in?
Chip-in,
yeah.
To beat Norman. Norman was crushed by it.
Yeah.
As well he should be. Because it was an impossible shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just
side hill lie on 11th hole. Yeah.
Everybody called it. The shot is impossible. And what does he do? He knocks it in the hole.
He hold it.
And wins the Masters.
What was it like for you watching that? See, that was before my time.
It was. Greg Norman was a European favorite. Spent a lot of time on the European tour, and so consequently, we were in shock watching that ball, and it was like everybody had just spoken. It's like he can't make this. It's difficult. Yeah. Be lucky to keep it on the green. If he misses the flag, it does go past it. It goes off the other side
of the cup instead, and it's going off the green now. It's in the bottom.
And we were all devastated for Norman. I must say that it was talk about snake bite, shark bite, whatever you want to call it. He was. That poor guy struggled there with that one.
If I was to, Greg Norman could get a Play It Where It Lies award again in a losing effort. He never won the Masters. The shot that Norman hits on 17 in 1986. People forget Nicklaus obviously made the back nine charge and won in 86, and it's probably one of the great golf tournaments, great golf moments, sports moments of all time. Norman birdied 4 in a row on the back nine, 14, 15, 16, and the shot that he hits on 17 out of the trees over there on the left from like behind the Eisenhower tree, runs it up, this little low kind of fading runner through the bunkers, hits it to about 6 feet and made the putt is one of the great shots that you see. And now because the Masters puts the broadcasts on YouTube, I've watched that 86 final round and seen that shot in kind of in the live setting multiple times. But I think that Stuart, the 2 shots off the pine straw. I mean, you talk about a difficult lie. Mickelson on the 13th hole, I guess, in 2010 to bang it through the pine trees and knock it in, and Bubba Watson's wedge from
that was truly unbelievable.
That was hook the wedge from the pine straw. But really, if you talk about what was really the most memorable golf shot probably of my entire lifetime, and one of the most in history, was Tiger's chip on 16 in 2005, where the Nike ball hangs on the hole and then it goes in. But that lie, the difficulty of that shot, the situation, and the way that he hit it. You talk about playing it where it lies. No one even comprehends hitting that shot. And when he hit it, it looks like a skull. Just everything about that shot to me would have to get the Play It Where It Lies award in Masters history.
Well, I can certainly agree. That's a great shot. I still go back to the Bubba Watson shot as a great shot. Anybody who's played the game of golf knows as you get down to those shorter irons how difficult it is to move a ball in the air a lot. I mean, he just got that wedge perfectly
off the straw.
And it was just a deliberate, there was no luck in that shot. That was a deliberately played shot. That to me is always going to remain in my mind. It's just
and to win,
and to win,
playoff to win. I mean, he hits wedge and he spins it in there. It's so cool to see the ball land and suck that way. And you can see the kind of sauce Bubba Watson put on it. Okay, Bubba Watson has won this thing a couple of times.
He has.
We're about to, in our punch-out segment, we're just going to punch out picks for you guys. Now, I like doing picks this way. We've done it together for a couple of years. We'll do it. Now, keep in mind, back in Play It, Drop It, Roll It. Stuart, you said play it. We will have a first-time Masters winner.
We will have a first-time Masters winner.
I said drop it. We will not have a first-time Masters winner, which
You
only
did.
leaves me with like Bubba, Scott, Mickelson, Tiger, again, Sandy Lyle, and
Sandy
Wilson.
Lyle,
Yeah. You never know.
VJC.
No, we talked about VJ. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see VJ on the weekend. But we'll go through our punch-outs right now, and we've got 4. We've got flopping favorite, see him Sunday, dark horse to ride, and of course green jacket, gold jacket. Who's going to get the winner? Let's start with your flopping favorite. Among the top guys, who's a guy that, I just don't think he's going to play well this week?
Jason Day.
Really?
Yeah, his form's been a little off.
He's like barely a favorite. I'm sitting there at 30-1, but it's Jason Day.
It's
so that
Jason
counts.
Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I think that Jason's not there for it. It was a close call. I did have another one that I'm not going to mention it, but I think Jason Day is certainly his injuries worries. His game's not right. His putting's not been good.
Yeah.
And you'll notice putting is the big thing for me with it all. Jason.
I'm going to go with Dustin Johnson, honestly. And he has, early on, I felt like DJ wasn't comfortable with the vibe at Augusta. And I think there's a little bit of that Lee Trevino talked about, sort of country boy roots. I don't know that he really feels his most at home in that buttoned up setting of Augusta, but Dustin Johnson's one of the top 2-3 players in the world, and he has also gotten used to it a little bit at Augusta.
Yeah.
So if you look at his last 3 Masters starts, they're pretty darn good. I think he had a 6, a 4, and a 10.
Yep.
All that being said, normally I would go with Rory here. I think, as we heard from Shane, I think Rory's going to play really well. If you had to ask me to go with the real favorites, Dustin Johnson at 10-1, I don't expect DJ to be in contention on Sunday, so I'm going to go with him for our flopping favorite.
Interesting choice. So then, let me run to you. See him on Sunday.
This is an interesting one, and this is sort of our guy, like most guaranteed to be there. He's 50-1, and that almost stuck out to me as like a dark horse. But Matt Kuchar is playing terrific golf. He plays really well at Augusta, and he doesn't ever seem to, obviously he doesn't, he hasn't broken through and won the major. But I was surprised to see Matt Kuchar at 50-1. I think there's guys you could pick above him, say, hey, he's going to be in contention on Sunday, but even at 50-1, I think Matt Kuchar is almost a lock. If I had to bet a sort of surefire see him on Sunday guy, I'm going to say Matt Kuchar.
Well, I think that's an interesting choice. Not my favorite player at this moment, but there we go.
That's the point. You got to pick somebody.
I'm going to pick see him on Sunday, somebody who I think is becoming one of the steadiest players out there. Hasn't made an awful lot of movements, but I'm going with Patrick Cantlay.
Really?
Yeah, I think that Patrick Cantlay is a good, steady putter. I'm not a big stat follower, so I don't know where his stats are exactly on putting, but I think he's a decent putter, and he putts well enough to do well at Augusta. I like Patrick Cantlay. I like his game. It's not an exciting game to watch, but I think he's got all the game to play there, and he's got some length too. Not massive, but enough.
Our punch-outs as we continue on our picks. Dark horse to ride. Let's get down like deep in that 100-1, range. You may even want to go a little deeper.
I'm
Who's
going
a
a
dark
little
horse
deeper.
to ride? Please do.
My little deeper is the international phenom. This year's sliced bread, Hua Tong Lee.
He's terrific. Yeah. He is really
At
good.
125 to 1.
Is that what he is? 125 to 1?
125 to 1. Yeah.
Any reason?
I think
he smacks the golf ball.
Oh, he can hit it a long way. He's a good, steady player. He doesn't get excitable. Just a great player that I think has the game for Augusta. I think, again, he can get into proximity to the pin. He can make those putts. He can not... I think more than anything else, he's not going to play himself out of it. And I think at 125 to 1.
That's a dark horse.
He's got a
for
dollar
sure.
on my money.
Yeah,
I know that.
A dark horse for sure. Hua Tong Lee. I'm going to stay in the hundreds. It fascinated me that all of these guys we're 100 to 1. Now I can't pick, like I can't ride multiple horses. I need like a chariot for that, like a dark horse chariot to ride. That would be cool. But I look at Ian Poulter at 100 to 1, who, I think played pretty well at Augusta a year ago. Has a knack for sort of showing up in the big events and the big tournaments. Poulter's played pretty well this year. I look at Poulter at 100 to 1.
It's again a good price.
It seems like a decent flyer on Poulter at 100 to 1. The two guys right around him, Charlie Hoffman and Brant Snedeker, are also guys who played pretty well at Augusta. Like I wouldn't
see Woo Kim right behind them there.
100 to 1 group. I'm like, bring in the Stuart Conway money, man.
That's a good group.
Head to Waterview.
I mean, I'm liking that group a lot more than the 45 to 1 group.
I'm with you. The 45 to 1 group of like Mickelson,
Kuchar,
Adam Scott, Leishman. Like that group at 100 to 1.
Yeah.
Poulter, Hoffman, Snedeker. I think and you made a good point. Siwoo Kim was just at the top of the leaderboard.
He fell off. He fell off a little.
I'm going to go with Poulter though for my dark horse to ride.
That's a real good one.
And now the moment everybody's been waiting for. We close out our punch outs and we close out Play It Where It Lies. Hack and Hank's got the drum roll. Green jacket, gold jacket. Who's in Butler Cabin putting it on Sunday evening?
Rory McIlroy.
First time major winner gets the Grand Slam.
First time major winner.
First time Masters winner gets the Grand Slam.
Well, Masters winner, And I just think Rory's got his driving has been nothing more than phenomenal.
Yeah.
He is definitely, I mean, it's a par 68 for him. And so if he does what I think he'll do at the par 5s and he putts okay, I think he's got enough to win.
Heard Shane Bacon say if he hits wedges even marginally well this week.
Yeah, because he's going to be hitting a lot of wedges.
What a story that would be. Rory McIlroy gets the career Grand Slam at Augusta with everything that's been said about him and written, and all of this feels like a journey that he's been on. To get it done in Augusta. We're so boring here with our picks, although the stories would be anything but boring.
Oh, indeed,
and the
they
most exciting, Rory McIlroy winning.
Yeah. Most definitely.
I'm like gulping when I'm about to say this, but I said it at the middle of the year last year. I said it at the end of the year when he contended in the PGA Championship, and I damn sure said it when he won the Tour Championship, that Tiger Woods was going to win at Augusta in 2019, and I'm not going to back off on it now. I don't feel as good about it now as I did last year when you looked up and it seemingly like every weekend Tiger was right there in the mix and in contention. It's hard to believe that we would be sitting there on Sunday watching Tiger Woods win the Masters for the 5th time and win his 5th major and win his 5th green jacket and win his 15th major and win for the first time since 2008. But I just think that it's all there, that it's the last thing left. I'm going to go with Tiger Woods to win the whole freaking thing, as he says in Major League. I think Tiger puts on the green jacket on Sunday afternoon. Now, it's a bit of a hopeful pick. I'll say that. It's a bit of like a childhood kind of like dream here. But I just think that with the way he's hitting his irons, his ability, I think if he catches the putter in the right place, I don't think the driver is going to kill him one way or another. It doesn't matter. You can miss at Augusta.
So long as you miss in the right place.
As long as you can miss, he's got to get better on the par 5s. But that generally comes down to, it's like decision making with Tiger on the par 5s as much as anything. Yeah. But I just, I said it last summer in the fall, and I'm not going to back off on it now. I haven't seen like so much this year where you're like, damn, he's definitely going to win, but he's I think doing enough, and I'm going to go with Tiger Woods.
Well, kudos to you for not backing down on the bet. I again will go to the putting stats, which again, I'm not a big stat guy. I'm not sure I'm a stat guy like I asked Shane. At Augusta,
well, it's not like Rory's exactly just like Mr. Automatic from 4.5 feet.
He's not, but he's hitting 400-yard drives.
Yeah, that helps. That helps.
It does help. That proximity to the pin makes a big difference when it comes down to putting stats. But yeah, I maybe a generational thing with Tiger, because I know a lot of the guys, Sid, who's working with me, he's big on Tiger this week. He's big on Tiger every week, and it may be a generational thing.
I grew up with the notion, with the idea ingrained as so many, that Tiger could do things that were impossible. That Tiger could do things that were just not comprehensible for any other golfer. That the one thing you expected him not to be able to do would be the next hurdle that he knocks down. I grew up believing in the supernatural powers of Tiger. And it's like, I can't believe that I'm like using that phrase, but that's literally what it was. And sure, maybe we can't divorce ourselves from that fully.
Yeah.
But I think he's given us reason in the last 2 years to, believe he still has that capability. That's the thing that's missing. That kind of expect anything different. As we talked about last week,
absolutely.
his ability to intimidate others.
He still has it. There's no doubt in my mind he does.
Well, I don't think that he does. I don't think he will intimidate others, and I don't know that he has that just hit every 6-foot putt that matters. I just think when you look at the way he played last year, when you look at the way he hits the ball this year, and kind of all things considered, I'm going to swing for the fences and stay with Tiger Woods.
Okay.
Rory or Tiger, that'd be a heck of a...
What a Sunday. What a sort of Sunday
What
pair.
a leap we made here.
What a Sunday
Rory
pair.
McIlroy and Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. It would be an incredible weekend. It's going to be an incredible week no matter
course
what.
it is.
Absolutely
Of course it
love
is.
the Masters.
Yeah, so let us know what you're doing, how you're watching the Masters. Tweet us, text us, do anything you want.
Well, a reminder, you can get involved with the show in a lot of ways. Hit us up on Facebook.com/BashBrothersMedia. Hit us on Twitter @BashBrosMedia. You can see the show on YouTube. And, of course, listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and wherever you consume your platform podcasts on whatever platforms and such. We did much better talking about the Masters and telling them where they can hear the show, but this was a very exciting Play It Where It Lies edition. Big thanks to Shane Bacon for joining us and Stuart the Gent. It's always a pleasure.
As always, John. Always.
Enjoy the week, and as always, you can play it on your phone, play it in the car, play it on the course. Just play it where it lies.
Real golf talk. Play it where it lies. A Bash Brothers Media golf show.